Hi, this is Father Louis Skirty with Mike Jones. As you know from our last episodes, Mike has been a fascinating subject for me and a great interview. He has covered so many aspects of his Christian faith and made it normal, made it average, made it the man on the street. He loves people, he loves music, he has plans for sustainability and serving the poor, and all these wonderful things that you'll have seen on the previous episodes. So I asked Mike just to share some personal stories. So we don't know where this is going to go, but we're going to share some personal stories of faith and life.
Yeah, so with my venture and just my path and everything, I've had certain things revealed through others, through just reading the Bible and certain truths, just of understanding, kind of coming to me of like, this is what you're reading. And we were talking about the daily bread in the Our Father.
Right.
And that I don't say is a simple one, because that's something that most people don't realize, because everything, as I was saying before, as a real truth, you'll find spiritually true and secularly true. And that's where it's almost deceivingly divisive, in the sense of it's divisive, but it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be a thing of God saying that
Right.
He pierces through both veils, both realities of
Right.
that, because He's that true in that. One of the things I was talking to someone, and sometimes you'll just be speaking to someone, and what is said just flows through you, because you realize that it's for them to learn, for you to learn. It's just that moment for it. And one of the ones that happened actually yesterday in speaking to someone was with the wine in the chalice. And so one of the things for the ceremony that you do is also adding some of the holy water to the wine.
Yes.
And so with it, the understanding that was given to me was the cup, the chalice is this physical body, the wine is our human soul, and then the holy water is the Holy Spirit.
Oh, if I give you the prayer that we use, it'll clarify. Through the mingling of this water and this wine, may we come to share in the divinity of Jesus, who became a human being to share in our humanity. So the wine, it represents God's divinity. The water is humanity, and it's mingled. He shared our humanity and gave us divinity. We're invited through the Eucharist to share His divinity with our own humanity. So that's maybe some of the references are a little different as you describe them.
Yeah.
The water's not always holy water, it's just water, but the mingling of it is significant.
Yes, and it's adding that mix to it. And it was something where when Jesus was pierced, He didn't bleed blood. It was kind of, I guess you'd say, leaking water to it.
The bile and blood and water flowed from His side, is what John tells us.
Yes, and so it goes also even to the woman from the well and the water that He's talking about, feeding or giving to drink to people.
For everlasting life.
Exactly.
So the common theme that you're looking at is water.
Yes.
And
there is something to all that, because we know, again, from secularly, that water has a consciousness to it. You know, your vibrations of it, how the moon, stars, everything affects it. But we're affected by these things as well. And so when you bless water and you're blessing the body, you're ingesting these things, you're bringing in blessings into your actual vessel.
Through the Eucharist, yes, we're bringing God's sacrament through our human vessels, into our human vessels. Beautiful.
And as you, what was it? Jesus talking to some of the Pharisees, he's like, oh, well, you have clean the outside vessels, but the inside's dirty. You just clean the inside of your vessel, and the outside will take care of itself. And it was one of those things, you clean yourself up spiritually, and then the outside takes care of itself. And what you find is with an individual, and they are in tough times, and they're hard times, and they walk away from their life.
Right.
And they start to clean the inside of their vessel, spiritually, whatever it is. And it happens. I met someone who... in my walk, he's all tatted up, and I was like, oh man, I don't want to talk to this kid. And it's like, no, go talk to him. I was like, all right. I started, talking to him. He was like, yo, you want to talk about Jesus? Yo, bring it, let's talk, And it was so amazing, because it was like I was trying to label him and judge him, but then he was a bigger believer than I was. He was so stoked on it. And it was just amazing to see that expectation be flipped on its head. And it was someone, in a great example, someone who cleaned his vessel because he told me how he found Christ while in prison. And so then he cleaned the inside of his vessel, and then he was doing so much better. He looked, radiant. There was a vitality to him. And so when you have these things, you see the truth of that. You go and you clean what you need to personally and spiritually, and then your body starts feeling better, your environment starts improving, these things start coming to you to help you. Because it's the moment that you turn away from that and you reach for Jesus to help you and invite him into his life that he does that.
And doing that, coming in contact with Jesus, purifies us, gives us strength, gives us the ability to pray and speak to him. And that prayer gives us strength and gives us comfort to enhance the vessel in so many ways.
And I find something that had happened to me before was when you face every fear, you cease to be afraid. And what holds us back a lot of times is these fears that we have, and that's what gets people into different ruts. They fear what they can do. They fear what other people think of them. There's something, and there's a negativity to that. When you lose those fears and you get that true rock of Christ, that love and confidence, humble confidence of it, then you find that no matter what happens, you can be thrown into a lion's den, you can be in a pit and then, fire and not get burned. Those things really happen, and as far as my understanding of that. And so it's amazing of what that confidence can do, walking on water, to be able to do that and not start to sink in doubt. And it's funny, how even you can almost picture Jesus, looking and be like, oh, you doubt. Here, let me pick you up. I got you. And it's just funny because it's just like you have this disciple going to put himself out there, and he's like, all right, I got this. Whoa, I'm actually walking on water, and then he starts to sink. I can't imagine doing something like that, but that's kind of what it is that fear, that doubt started to resonate within him, and it kind of allowed him to then start falling into the water of it instead of have that confidence. That true rock that
in Jesus.
And what he was saying, what he was proving wasn't just, I can do this and, you can. He's like, yo, anyone can do this. I'll prove it. All right. Because it was starting off, what was originally 56 followers he had. I forget the comment he said, but it was then he said something and it went down to the 12 afterwards. And so he had a group of men that he was able to teach these truths to prove that anyone can do it. And I feel like that's almost lost, that true understanding of that. We almost put these barriers up mentally instead of understanding, no, anyone can do it. And I feel in today's day and age, people are beginning to be more conscious and aware. They're becoming more spiritually alive. There's something inherent within them, because I feel our system has pushed us so far away from it and tried to scare us away from the truth, that there's this natural reaction, this counter reaction of no, I don't like that. I feel the truth. But at the same time, the argument still remains the same, is people have a problem with the Pharisees and want the truth. And Jesus was the same way, so it's hard to even fault people for that. But at the same time, it goes into having some sort of structure for the education of it. But with God, if you really open your eyes and your mind to what's going on, he's teaching all the time, every day.
We'll stop right there, because that's wonderful. If you open your eyes to God, he's always teaching you. Thank you so much, Michael. These interviews have been wonderful. We're going to keep in contact through email, any other way.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate your insight, and I think it's so inspiring to know a young man in the faith, really heart of the faith, out there in the world, and you're going to change the world. God bless you.
I hope so. Thank you so much.
This has been Father Louis Scurti with Mike Jones here at St. Cecilia's Church in Clearwater, Florida, and we met just by inspiration, not coincidence.
Absolutely.
Let me hear from you. God bless you.